me wanna holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, you know, we need them. Yeah, we need those strategies. Those strategies for living. So, are you ready? You ready for your daily dose? Your daily dose of radio rehab?
I suppose I'm ready. What's on taps for today?
Well, yeah, do you ever have... Hey, folks, welcome into Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillan. She is psychotherapist Lauren Leon McMillan, PLPC. Hey, do you ever have those days where you feel like I need a little extra bzz, yeah.
Sure, extra zing,
A little
extra pep in our step.
Yeah. Pep in your step, glide in your stride.
Everybody has
fizz
those
in your
days.
what it is. Yeah.
Everybody has those moments. Mama said there'd be days like this, yeah?
Yeah, and she was right. I ran across an article recently by Josh Dolan, and he calls himself a purpose pathfinder.
Okay.
And it was an article. You know how I like quotes,
Sure,
right?
we both
I love
do.
quotes. Yeah, both of us do. And the article was entitled "When Words Wake Us Up." And he says some inspirational quotes just hit like lightning, and then others feel like a whisper you've waited your whole life to hear. And he says, just because sometimes we just feel a little bit off, we're doing the work, we're showing up, but then, why?
Yeah.
And we need that, we need to answer that why.
It's always nice to have a gentle or even a loud reminder of, why we're here and what we're doing it for. Yeah.
So he gathered up some quotes that he says ignite personal growth. That's what he claims.
Okay.
So I thought we would share some of. I don't know if we'll get. I think he's got 25 or so of them. I don't know that we will get through all 25 of them because you know how we like to share and talk.
We get a little excited.
We get a little.
and then.
We get a little excited about certain things. So I don't know that we'll get through all 25 of them, but we'll give it a go. Folks, thanks for being here. Thanks for being with us here on Strategies for Living. And we appreciate our sponsors who make this possible, the Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertina's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, alligator Italian sausage, and some pretty good muffies, too. Back in a moment with...
I could use those quotes.
Yeah, I hopefully with some inspiring quotes here on Strategies for Living.
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wanna holler, get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab.
And you found them. Yeah. You've stumbled on to Strategies for Living Radio.
Look
So
no
welcome
further.
in. Yeah. Glad you're here. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. We're considering today some personal quotes, quotes that ignite personal growth.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need these little extra reminders, right?
One of my favorite teachers from middle school would start. We'd have to start the day with a journal, and very frequently,
Sounds like Mrs. Vogler to me.
yeah, that would be the one.
Yeah.
Very frequently, it would be a quote. And those were, I really loved that exploration of finding the deeper meaning in people's words and finding how it applies to my life. And it was such an inspirational and informative practice for me that when you and I, got together and, have this young man that we are now homeschooling.
Right.
I really thought it was an important practice that we bring into our own homeschooling with him. And so
We begin every day with a quote.
So every day I find a relevant quote. Certainly I try to tailor it to things that he's going through.
Right.
So that he can find some inspiration and some relevance.
But you know what's interesting to me, Lauren, is that you put it up on the board. We use as our homeschooling is actually done at the office,
Right.
and we use our back area. There's a kitchen back there
And a bathroom. So it's a pretty general public area.
So people, people who are waiting to see you or Carla or myself will come back, and we've had quite a number of them.
Yep.
Now routinely come back just to see what the quote because you've been doing this for a couple of years now.
Yeah, yeah.
And so people know that it's up there.
Right.
And so it's interesting to me how many people have commented.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think
look forward to seeing what the quote, because the quote changes every day.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I think some of them.
Well,
even
every
go
school,
back
every
there.
school day day that we see
Right,
him.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And so I think several people even take pictures. And something interesting that I've noticed has happened also is, quite frequently, the quote of the day will actually, I'll find myself in session with a client later.
Yeah.
And the quote of the day is incredibly relevant to what we're talking about in session. Almost
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. You mentioned Miss Vogler, and I met your middle school teacher when she was about 8 years old.
Right.
And
Yes.
it took us a while to figure that out.
Make the connection. How small of a
Yeah,
world
but
it was.
she is the younger sister of someone who married a good friend of mine,
Right.
John Terracina.
Right.
And so I met your middle school teacher.
Yeah, when she was
when
because
she was in the
y'all were in the wedding.
We were in the
together.
wedding. We
Yeah.
were both part of the wedding party. I was a groomsman, and she
Right.
was a flower girl or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when we put that together, talk about synchronicity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just never know. You never know. But when you put it all together, and when you think about it, the tapestry that is life is amazing.
It is. It's beautiful once you're able to back up from it and to see the full tapestry, even as it's in progress.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that we even when you put things together.
Yeah.
I remember when we figured it out.
Yeah.
And we put two and two together, and then, wow, I met your middle school teacher when she must have been 8 years old.
Right.
And I have a picture, I have pictures of the wedding party. And, even then, even when you figure things like that out, I'm not sure that we can really fully 100% appreciate the tapestry that is our lives.
And
during life,
right. And the planning and the divine planning that must have gone on, or is rather continuously going on, because everything is present on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So
as above, so below.
To recognize the divine planning that is continuously ongoing makes you take a step back and pause and ask, maybe I can trust this.
Yeah.
Maybe I can trust the unfolding. And I don't know what kind of knot life has me in now, but just like, something that's being woven, once it's finished, you'll recognize, oh my gosh, look how beautiful that little knot, or that weave fits in so beautifully to the bigger picture of life.
Absolutely. Which leads me to the first quote I want to share,
All right.
which is from Mark Twain, because I think
right. I like
I think it really blends well.
Mm-hmm.
And Twain says, the two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. That's very quiet power in that line. Some people spend their whole lives in between those 2 days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I almost I think we could take it literally, but we can also take it metaphorically.
Yeah.
Right? Because I love the idea, the imagery, if you will, of the 2 days. Because to me that brings in the aspect of duality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not literally in the case that he was intending, maybe it was literally 2 days, the day you're born and the day you find out why.
Yeah.
But I also am of the mind to believe that every day, every second, every moment is another opportunity to create and discover our why.
Yeah.
And so it's not just 2 days.
Yeah.
But once you begin that process of questioning, why am I here? What am I doing? And what do I want to create in the world?
It changes the way you do life, doesn't it?
And that is your key out of duality, out of the 2 days.
So another quote here that relates to that from Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Okay.
The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be. So purpose doesn't arrive. It doesn't come like a letter in the mail, right? Or nowadays, I guess we ought to say, in your email box, right?
Right.
It unfolds.
Or your text message.
In your text message, yeah.
DMs.
It unfolds, and it begins to unfold the moment that we start deciding instead of drifting. So Emerson is reminding us that, if we want to grow, if we want to become more conscious, that begins when we stop waiting to be the chosen and we start choosing who we will become. I remember several years ago taking a Bible class.
You went straight where I went.
And
going to my head.
Yeah, the teacher, and he's no longer in Shreveport, but we had for a little while. There was an instructor in the Greco Institute when that existed, sponsored by the Catholic Diocese, named Jim McGill, and he was a fantastic teacher. Just absolutely, I took as many courses as I could from Mr. McGill. I think he's over at the University of Dallas now, but I took an Old Testament course from Jim McGill. And it was specifically on the first 5 books of the Bible, on the Pentateuch, right?
Right.
And he had some phenomenal things to share in that class, one of which was, he said, I wonder if the people of Israel weren't so much the chosen people as they were the choosing people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I mean, when he first said it, wow. And but and I don't know how many years ago. It's been years and years since I heard that, and it's still bubbling. It's still there.
And that very much relates to this quote, right? That there's not a person you're destined to be, only the person that you decide to be.
Yeah.
Right. And so what that does is that lays that foundation of we all have a choice in who we decide to be and become and who we decide to create.
And we have that choice each and every minute, don't we?
Every millisecond.
You can,
every blink of an eye, however small you can divide up this illusion we call time. It's ever present.
So here's Maya Angelou, who says, you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Now, that's the core of resilience that she's talking about. I mean, certainly life doesn't always give us comfort zones.
No.
But, purpose lives just outside those borders, just outside the borders of comfort, where we get to choose how to respond, especially to the challenging things that we're encountering through our life, right?
Yeah, and I think this is so important for today, especially as we're watching what seems like chaos and all the uncontrollable grief that's happening around us
Yeah.
in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's so because
It can be a scary place.
we can get so caught up in empathy or sympathy in one way or another, and I don't want us to become overly attached or overly detached. What's important is what can we do on a personal, individual level? What can you do at your local address? And that's even more local than your community. What can you do at your locality where you are now? Because that's our greatest gift, and that's where all of our control lies.
Yeah.
Is if we begin to cultivate peace, right? If we're gonna have outer peace, it's gotta start with inner peace.
It's got to begin
with me.
with me.
Yeah.
So we're getting that little extra bzzzt today from a lot of people we know. We've already talked to Mark Twain and to Ralph Waldo Emerson and Maya Angelou. We've got great life strategists on today. Maybe we'll come back with Eleanor Roosevelt and Oprah Winfrey. I don't know. We'll see.
That sounds like a good pair.
We'll see what comes up. Today on Strategies for Living. More to come. Stay right where you are.
Tuning out, let's take a ride. Healthy mind and heart open wide. Every step with spirit as our guide. Here on Strategies for Living. Mind, body, spirit in the groove. Relationships smooth as ocean waves. Let's connect and let's improve. Strategies for brighter days. Wake up your mind with the spark.
And welcome back. I hope we are sparking a little bit today. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren, you were talking before break, you were talking about when we survey what's going on in the world today, some of us can get, we can get into fear. We can get we can get into a lot
all
of fear.
kinds of things, including outrage and fear and depression and sadness and dismay. I mean, all kinds of feelings that make us feel separate and hopeless. And but if we look around at what's going on, for sure.
But somebody who knows a lot about fear would be a lady that was one of our, probably historically, one of our most popular first ladies.
Good old
Eleanor Roosevelt. And she said, this is what she had to say about fear.
Okay.
And this may surprise some people.
Yeah.
Eleanor Roosevelt, she said, do one thing every day that scares you. All right, so, is that really moving into it or what?
Yeah.
I mean, fear doesn't mean that we're off track. It often means that we're headed right where we need to go,
Yes.
and we're headed in the right direction. And so Mrs. Roosevelt here is reminding us that growth and purpose are not comfortable things, but they're always worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, a song that I've discovered recently says something similar, and I really appreciate it. It's I think it's called Daydream. It's don't quit your daydream.
Yeah.
But she says if it ain't big enough if it doesn't scare the heck out of you. If it makes you nervous, it's probably worth it.
Yeah.
And I think this is, this comes with a lifetime of, your ongoing lifetime of practice of discernment, being able to, because we know growth happens just on the learning edge, the edge of learning and the leading edge of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? It's right there. There's a sweet spot where growth happens. And, I think part of our greatest task is to find that leading edge and to ride it as much and as often as we can.
Some of us spend a lot of time waiting, though. We're waiting for that right time, that right moment, just
I'll
perfect.
do it
right?
when.
Yeah.
I'll do it when I'm not ready yet, and I'll do it when this, and this are lined up. I know.
You love tennis, and before your time, there was a great, in tennis, there was a barrier breaker,
Yeah.
Arthur Ashe.
Okay. Yeah.
And Arthur Ashe said, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can.
Oh.
All right. So, I mean, think about the brilliance of that. There's just no perfect starting point. The only thing that we've got is motion. And so what Arthur Ashe is saying is reminding us that the best way to build a meaningful life for ourselves is to take imperfect action, even if it's just one small step. I'm looking up. We tape our radio program in our most days, not every single day, but most days. Some days we go out into sponsors and different places, but most days we tape in our home office.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking up at the whiteboard.
I was about to share that story because it's very related, not just in what it says, but in who told me that.
Yeah, your tennis coach,
Yeah,
right? What's the quote up there?
My tennis coach. This was like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And the way I got better was I had not played tennis until high school.
Right, and then you played
with these guys who had played since they were
little. You went
little.
on to play college tennis, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I started playing with guys who had played since they were little, so
Yeah.
they were
good.
head and tail above me. And I can remember
Talk about a baptism by fire, right?
Yeah, but I can remember this particular day that I was just so frustrated with myself because I was trying to play up, because that's how I got better. But I was just trying too hard. And Coach came over to me and he said, and this is what's on the board, he said, just hit the ball in.
And if you think about it, it's just so brilliant.
It is. It really is. And he said something like,
just
hit
it
the
in.
ball in. There's a 68% chance that the other guy will miss.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He probably pulled that number out of his butt.
I doubt it. I bet he had. I bet he
might
had
have had
some stats that prove that.
You're right.
But maybe it came out of his butt too. You never know.
I don't know. But the brilliance of just hit the ball in, hadn't even occurred.
I know
to
how
me.
it impacted you, and then therefore years later impacted
It's
me
still on the
because
whiteboard.
it's on the whiteboard. It's just we see it. Just hit the ball in.
Right, because that's so challenged my overachieving perfectionist attitude up until that point.
Yeah.
Right. To just hit the ball in. I'd grown up with the idea of don't do anything halfway.
Yeah.
Right. And that was drilled over and over into me.
If you're going to do it right.
Yeah, and do it the best that
you can. Yeah.
And to me, that was beyond what I could, right?
But sometimes, that messes us up. And so
Absolutely.
we just need that reminder. Just hit the ball in.
It was certainly doing it that day.
Yeah.
And after that, I started to catch up, and yeah, he was right.
And here comes Oprah. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here comes Oprah, and she says, challenges are gifts. Challenges are gifts that force us to search for a new center of gravity. So all of us can relate. All of us have times where we feel like, man, everything is just falling apart on me.
Right.
And maybe something else is actually falling into place, but we don't see it. Mm-hmm. We're not able to see it.
Yeah.
So Oprah is one of the things that I think she does so well, Lauren, is she reframes. She's a great reframer. Mm-hmm. And so this is reframing the discomfort of transitions and making it a driving force for discovery of what is deeper. What is our deeper purpose, especially when we are forced out of the comfort zone that perhaps we've outgrown.
Right. Yeah? And this quote is twofold for me, because there's the first part about challenges are gifts, and that in itself can be something that we explore and examine, thoroughly, to see challenges as opportunities to grow.
Yeah.
But then she throws in this extra piece where she says that they're gifts to force us to search for a new center of gravity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's profound. And I
Yeah.
think it's important that we remember that, because so often in life, when we stretch and when we grow ourselves, what we used to do, or our old center of gravity, isn't comfortable anymore.
Yeah.
It's not suitable, and it's not going to be healthy for us to return there
Right.
as our center of gravity. And so it's almost emphasizing the importance of this transformation and then being in the midst of developing that new center of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to, again, this seems to be a theme lately, to let go, right? And to move into the new and reestablish a home somewhere else.
And just to underscore it, here's another life strategist. I think this guy will probably make it. His name is Einstein. Old Albert Einstein. He says, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity.
Yeah, there it is.
And so if you look at how many quotes I just think of the quotes that we've shared from Einstein through the years. Einstein's brilliant. Yeah, he was brilliant in physics, certainly. But he wasn't just brilliant in physics.
No,
it was in perspective that he was his brilliance. And that quote, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity, that quote reminds us all that some of life's most meaningful breakthroughs come during the darkest moments.
Yeah.
When we're willing, when we can think about it, we're in that darkness, but we're willing to look again.
Yeah. And to see, okay, what's the opportunity? What's the message? What is this trying to teach me? And one of my favorite ways, I guess it's a reframing of looking at the word opportunity. If we break it down, OP, simply means to move towards. Okay? So if we break down the word port unity.
Right.
What I see there is moving towards, the port.
Yep.
And we can all see and know what a port is.
Right.
Moving towards.
We live in Shreveport, for goodness sakes.
Absolutely. Moving towards, which is a safe harbor where people can dock.
Right.
So moving towards a port of unity. So anytime I think of an opportunity, I try to think of, how is this opportunity? How is it trying to move me into unity with everything else?
Yeah.
How is it trying to integrate my wholeness into the wholeness that is everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to be able to see that in the midst of what we consider great difficulty and great struggle.
Yeah. Well, it's almost football season, right? So we got to end this segment. We got to go to break in a moment. But let's not go to break before we bring the coach in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I was wondering what that segue was about.
Let's bring one of the greatest coaches of all time.
All right. All right, Coach.
Vince Lombardi.
Okay.
And he says it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's the key? Coach Lombardi is telling his players it's resilience. Resilience is the key ingredient in a life of purpose. And Lombardi's quote just strips away all the drama, and he gets right to the heart of it. Purpose is not about avoiding failure. It's about refusing to stay there.
Right.
Just hit the ball in.
Yeah. There you go.
Just hit the ball in.
Everybody's going to get knocked down. It's about
it's a given. It's a given. It doesn't matter who you are.
It's about, do you choose to get up, and how do you choose to get up?
Yeah.
Is another thing that we have.
There you go. There you go. There's so much, so much we can learn from the brilliance of the people that we're sharing today. We usually have great life strategists, but today Einstein, Lombardi,
you brought the all-stars in
the
today.
all-star team is in today. We're getting that little extra zip today from words of wisdom from people we know here on Strategies for Living. We got more. Stay with us.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies, strategies, strategies for living radio.
And welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren, Leon McMillan, David McMillan, both. If you've listened to Strategies at all through the years, you know we love quotes, and I've always loved them. Now we've got some doozies today, yeah. And because there's times that we all need some reminders, right? We need that extra little zip, right?
Extra motivation.
So we had the coach in. Let's bring the champ in.
Okay, which one?
Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
Is there another?
Yeah. Oh, I guess not.
He says, "Don't count the days, make the days count."
Yeah.
Now
That kind of mirrors the Lincoln quote.
it really does.
The Lincoln
Yeah.
quote. It's not the years in your life, but the life in your years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali, if you know much about his life, he knew what it meant to live with conviction. He fought in the ring, yes, and he was great at it. But he also fought for the meaning of life.
Yeah.
And this quote, "Don't count the days, make the days count," that quote is a call to live intentionally and stop waiting for just the right time and bring purpose to every moment.
Right. Because we don't know. We
Yeah.
truly don't know when we are gonna leave.
Yeah.
When will be our last day? When's gonna be our last moment?
We have no idea. Famous poet Rumi says, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." And of course, Rumi was a great poet, right?
Yes.
But this quote isn't just poetry, it's compass.
Yeah.
So Rumi is reminding us that meaningful life doesn't always come from logic, not logic
at all.
alone. Sometimes our insides, our inner self already knows the way if we're quiet enough to listen. Yeah.
And that's the key, right? If we're able to give ourselves enough stillness and enough quiet. And I love how he says the strange pull. Because often our intuition is kind of counter. It is kind of what?
Yeah.
At first.
You want me to do what?
Right.
Yeah.
Like that what? Where am I? Where do I need to, but if you just practice tuning in and listening and then following that strange pull, and it's not just in the big things, it's in the little daily things.
Well, and sometimes it's about being willing to be vulnerable. And you've got a hero, Brené Brown,
yeah.
who says vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the heart of purpose. It's not about always knowing what to do and how to do it. It's about showing up. It's showing up with your heart, with your whole heart, even when it's hard, and especially when it's hard, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wish I could go back to high school English class, junior year English, where we studied people like Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau. I didn't appreciate him as much as I could have back in the day, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well,
I think it was my junior year in high school.
I think that's about when I did that too. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
But Henry David Thoreau, here we go. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined. That's a classic. And it's a challenge too. It challenges us to dream, not only just for the sake of dreaming, but to live as though it matters.
Yeah.
Because it does.
And to begin to question the limits that you put on yourself. And I think, oftentimes we like to blame, clearly there are limits. I'm limited. But most of those are limits that, first of all, you accept. And if you accept them, you're imposing them upon yourself. You know, someone else may have suggested it to begin with, but as long as you accept them and implement them, you have a say.
And sometimes you got to get a little crazy.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world, those are the ones that do.
Yeah.
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 So, you know, he was a tech genius. Steve Jobs was certainly a tech genius, but he understood belief also. And he understood that belief is fuel. Mm-hmm. And the quote is just a absolutely bold declaration. If your purpose feels bigger than you, well, good. And that means it might just be worth choosing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that likely means that really is your true calling.
Yeah.
Because your calling is going to be much bigger than you.
Yeah, but again, you know, we were talking about the fear earlier. It takes courage. So Martin Luther King Jr. says faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase.
Yeah. And maybe especially when you don't see the whole staircase.
Yeah, and I mean it's saying we got to have courage, and it's not the loud kind of courage, it's the quiet kind of courage, the kind that moves any way, especially when clarity hasn't arrived yet, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you just you step out there, step out there. Pablo Picasso, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. Isn't that great?
I love this
All
one.
right, Pablo
Especially
Picasso.
coming from Pablo.
The meaning of life is to find your gift.
Yeah.
The purpose of life is to give it away. That flips the script, doesn't it?
Big time.
It's not just, so purpose isn't just self-discovery, it's service.
Right.
So we're not meant to find our light and hoard the light. We're meant to share the light.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you truly find that your gift and you give it away, what I think you come to realize is that it comes back tenfold.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, I often go back to the quote, the idea that life is forgiving. Life is for
giving. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, good one to end on. Mahatma Gandhi. Mm-hmm. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a blueprint.
Yes.
That's a blueprint for a life of integrity, because purpose is found in not in thought alone. It's felt when your whole life lines up.
When you're in alignment and embodied presence with all of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, sometimes need that little extra zip, right?
Yeah, I got a little more pep in my step now.
Yeah. Well, little hep in your step, little glide in your stride, little fizz in your what it is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Can I quote you on that one?
Nah.
Okay.
We'll leave that right where it probably came from back in the days of disco. Spinning one too many records on the, back in the days of disco, but that's another story. Mm-hmm. We'll be back here on Strategies for Living. Stay with us. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren, Leon McMillan, David McMillan. Just hit the ball in.
That's right.
Just hit it in.
Just do the next best thing for you.
Well, did we hit it in today?
I hope so. That was the plan.
I hope. Well, did we have a plan today?
I don't know about that either. We're walking blindly on that staircase Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about, I think, sometimes.
Some days more than others. I mean, we'll pull back the curtain a little bit here. And about 30 seconds before we started the show, Lauren asked me, what are we going to talk about today? Well, in the time that it took to walk, into the room and sit down, well, this is what came up. So
Let's talk about some quotes.
yeah, let's talk about. So what's your takeaway from today?
A lot of these are about purpose, which makes sense coming from the author who curated them. But what I'm taking away, I think, is that purpose isn't something you find, but it's something that you create with daily choices.
Yeah.
And then I also kind of want to combine a couple and say, to get there, it's to listen, to tune in, listen and follow that strange inner pulling. You know, and once you find that gift, be willing to have the courage to take a step in the right direction and then give it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then if for our audience to take one quote that inspired you or a couple and put them up on your board or put them up on a mirror somewhere you'll see it every day.
Yeah, even if you don't consciously, you know, I'm not consciously aware that I'm seeing just hit the ball in every day.
It's there, though.
But it's there, and I see it every day, so it goes in, and I don't know. I hope I hit the ball in most days, you know, or at least some of them. Lauren, thank you. Folks, thank you. We appreciate you being with us here on Strategies for Living, and we appreciate our sponsors who make it possible, the Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitas Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, and some pretty good muffies too. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? What would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Laura and Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.